It's Friday the 27th of September and I'm here at Jazz FM Studios to record this week's Market Insights podcast with Jonny Hart from the Business Breakfast. This week we talk impeachment, Brexit, the Supreme Court, PMIs and, of course, the US jobs report. Don't forget to like and subscribe and please leave any feedback in the comments box below.
Despite the fact that Trump is probably going to be impeached, the Democrats are attempting that at the moment, despite the fact that Boris Johnson has the entire opposition against him on a variety of levels, moral and otherwise, they seem to bounce back. And a lot of the reason for that is their base, their economic and social base is kind of behind them still. And you feel that whatever happens, as long as they've got that 35-40% base behind them going forward in a possible election, of course, unless Trump is no longer the president, and Boris Johnson in an election in the next few weeks or so, that they will survive.
Yeah, again, it is this really weird scenario whereby the rules don't seem to apply to either of them, both in terms of what is normal, what would normally force you to at least consider resigning, but also what you're punished for, because you don't feel like either of these are going to be punished at the polls, given what we've just seen and heard. But then we are also in a scenario whereby I think both of them know what they're doing. Both of them know that their limitations are far greater than the limitations of past presidents and prime ministers because of the situations that they're dealing with. And ultimately, no matter what he says, no matter what he does, and no matter how unlawful he's deemed to be acting as far as Boris Johnson's concerned, if you are a Brexiteer and you voted Brexit, you're not judging him based on his character. You're not judging him based on what he's done, whether you agree with it or not. You're judging him based on how hard is he trying to deliver Brexit. And therefore, he doesn't have to play by the usual rule book that others would be forced to play by. So, like I say, it does create this really random situation that we're in right now where if these characters are as Marmite as you can possibly imagine a president and a prime minister to be, you literally either loathe the person or you love him.
Why is the German economy into such trouble at the moment? And going back to Brexit, they could certainly do without any no-deal scenario or even any sort of bad deal scenario because, you know, I sound like Nigel Farage about the German car industry, but they are pretty much reliant, not totally reliant, but they have a big stake in, you know, British car sales. That would make it even worse, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the timing is certainly not ideal. I forget the exact number, but it's more than 40% of the German economy, which is disproportionately large compared to other countries, is driven by trade. Exports, and the car manufacturing is a massive part of that. Germany's been hit from all sides at the moment. So for years, they've been lauded for the fact that they've got a very diverse economy, the fact that they're not just dependent on the banking sector, the fact they're not just dependent on services, or the fact they're not just dependent on manufacturing, the fact that they're so diversified. But it seems like everything's been hit recently. So the car manufacturing, they've been hit by the emissions testing standards, which had a significant effect. We've had subsidies in China on cars have been removed, which has massively hit purchases of cars in China, new cars in China, and Germany is a large exporter of cars to China, so that's had a massive impact also on their auto industry. Then you've got the trade war and the threats from Trump to impose tariffs on German cars, so again that's had an impact again on the car industry. But then generally we've had an economic slowdown globally, so that impacts trade. We've seen all the trade numbers have perfectly highlighted that. China is slowing naturally anyway, and again China is a massive trade partner for Germany, so that's hit it as well. Europe's generally slowing down, which again hits Germany as well, and then Brexit, of course, UK is a big trade partner for Germany. So it's all of these factors all happening at the same time means that we're now looking at Germany looking at recession.
If you enjoyed these videos, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave any feedback in the comments box below.